as you promised. Help Ukraine as you promised.
Help Ukraine as you promised.
World, wake up!
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 Olenivka is one of the clearest examples of the way Russian propaganda works and of the way that the Russian terrorist regime itself works by enforcing their will on the rest of the world. During the days when Stepan Bandera was resisting against the communists, against Stalin, they used to dress up their own Soviet troops in the uniform of his troops, of the UPA, of the Ukrainian rebellious army. And they would commit atrocities and then claim that it was UPA who did so. Same exact thing happened in Olenivka. They did not want to exchange the brave heroes of Azovstal. They wanted to murder them, they wanted to cripple them, they wanted to destroy the very idea of being a hero for Ukraine. That is why they struck Olenivka, killed and wounded the people who were in there, and then blamed the Ukrainians of doing so. Truly, an interesting way of presenting their agenda, of presenting their lies. And this is not the only occasion in which this happened, my friends. The very definition of this war that's happening in Ukraine right now, the very justification of it is exactly the same as what happened in Olenivka. The Russians claim that they're fighting for Russia in a foreign country that they have invaded and whose sovereignty they have accepted many times in many treaties. So what happened to these treaties? What happened to the international agreements that the Russians were part of? For them, they are irrelevant. The only agreement, the only treaty that matters for the Russians is the one that they feel like they will be punished for if they violate it. That is the only thing that the Russian terrorist regime understands. Inevitable and overwhelming consequences, brute force. That is what their country is based on. This country is based on values. This country is based on the strive for a better future. Russia is based on an authoritarian terrorist regime, a great Khanate of Muscovy, a country-sized criminal syndicate that will engulf the whole world if we give them the option to do as such. A popular saying in Russia, especially for Putin, is that Russia has no borders. That the Russian borders never end. What does this mean? It's very simple, my friends. It means Russia will continue doing what they've been doing until either they are stopped or until they take over the world. And there will be no one else to stop them then. Now, my friends, we all know very well Russia is in no condition to take over the world right now. But Russia is definitively in the condition to ruin the situation in Europe and degrade it far more than they have already. This is something we need to realize at long last. We need to understand that only with action will the Russian people finally act. Only by seeing that the rest of the world stands with Ukraine unequivocally and unanimously. Only by seeing that there is no more future with Putin than the future of suicide. That is the only way for us to get these supposed opponents of Putin to act. Putin will eliminate any kind of opposition he has. On the left, on the right, on the center, it doesn't matter. Navalny's death is reminiscent to the death of Prigozhin. Although Prigozhin represents the very same thing that Putin is, a crook and a criminal, somebody who's an authoritarian leader, somebody who's a criminal overlord, but he went against Putin's ideals, he went against Putin's interests, so we had to go. And the same can be said about Navalny. The death of Navalny is the death of any kind of potential for reform in Russia, any kind of peaceful reform, any kind of internal change. In Russia, the government does not have the power to remove Putin. In Russia, Putin has the power to remove the government. That is how this terrorist country of Russia functions, my friends. And that is something that everybody needs to understand at long last. Because if we don't, it could be too late. These isolationists, self-proclaimed conservatives who claim that they only care for their own country, they spread ignorance among you, my friends. They claim that nothing matters beyond the borders of Great Britain. Everything matters everywhere, my friends. We live in a global world. And this country, like the vast majority of other countries around the world, is not self-sufficient. It's not a country that can survive by itself without anyone else. Prosperity can be achieved with relations with others. But what kind of relations can we have with Russia? When they betray every agreement they've made, when they feel like they have the minutest gain out of it. How can we make deals with them? How can we negotiate with them? When they have proven that they will attack us and destroy us and backstab us at the first opportunity they get. No. That is not the right way to the future. The right way to the future, my friends, is with Ukraine. The right way to the future is with the destruction of the Russian military in Ukraine and the reformation of the Russian terrorist regime. That is the right future, and that is what we are going to achieve. Russia is a terrorist state. Russia is a terrorist state. Russia is a terrorist